There's a liquid sitting on the shelf of every Dollar General in America that kills bathroom and basement mold down to the root permanently. It costs $1. It has been proven effective as a fungicide since the 1800s. Once applied, mold colonies cannot regenerate, not in 10 years, not in 50, not ever. It does not expire. It does not degrade on contact with air, and it never loses potency inside a sealed brown bottle. The restoration industry has spent decades making sure you reach for bleach instead. But here's the problem. A $2.5 billion mold remediation industry depends on you not knowing this. This liquid is that industry's most inconvenient truth. Not banned, not illegal, something else entirely. Hidden in the first aid aisle of every pharmacy, and most people walk right past it every single week. A $2.5 billion industry cannot survive if homeowners solve the mold problem themselves. So they did what every industry does when a cheap solution threatens expensive contracts. They pushed bleach. They lobbied for professional-only certifications, and they made sure you never heard the two words that could save you thousands: hydrogen peroxide. Welcome to Forbidden Camping. If these stories matter to you, the bell and the subscribe button are the best way to preserve knowledge the industry keeps trying to bury. Here, we open the vaults they lock shut. Now let me take you back to where this all started. The year is 1818. A French chemist named Louis-Jacques Thenard is working in his laboratory in Paris, decomposing barium peroxide with nitric acid. What he isolates? A pale, unstable liquid that bubbles violently on contact with organic material. He has no idea will become one of the most powerful antifungal compounds in human history. For the next century, hydrogen peroxide was used primarily as a bleaching agent for hair and fabrics. But in the early 1900s, Dr. Richard Koch at the University of Berlin and separately Dr. Emil Bogen at Stanford Medical School begin testing it on biological contaminants under controlled conditions. What they observe is remarkable. The moment hydrogen peroxide contacts fungal tissue, it releases a cascade of free oxygen radicals that tear through the cell wall of mold at the molecular level, like shards of broken glass shredding through tissue paper. It doesn't just kill the spores on the surface, it penetrates into the hyphal network, the roots of the mold colony, and oxidizes them from the inside out. The colony cannot regenerate from what is left. Scientists at the time called it the silent oxidizer. In 1928, researchers Walter Dawson and Herbert Foster at the University of Edinburgh tested 3% hydrogen peroxide directly against common household mold species, Aspergillus niger, Stachybotrys chartarum, and Cladosporium. Colonies exposed to direct application showed 99.7% kill rates within 10 minutes. Not one viable spore remained after a second application 24 hours later. The practice spread across Europe. Researchers at the Institut Pasteur in Paris confirmed that hydrogen peroxide, unlike sodium hypochlorite, which is the active ingredient in bleach, fully penetrated porous surfaces, including grout, drywall, and untreated wood, achieving elimination rates of 94 to 98% at the hyphal root level. In 1977, the Environmental Protection Agency officially registered hydrogen peroxide as a registered fungicide and disinfectant suitable for household surfaces. By the 1980s, it was standard practice in hospital infection control units to apply peroxide solutions to prevent black mold from taking hold in high humidity environments. No reapplication contracts, no annual service calls, no technician visits. For decades, that is exactly what happened in properly maintained buildings. Mold in those structures was virtually non-existent. But then the remediation industry began to grow, and the economics changed everything. Before I continue, I need to stop here, because this video is only scratching the surface of what the industry doesn't want inside your home. I have compiled everything into the complete Forbidden Camping Vault. Inside, you'll find the 48-hour Mold Elimination Protocol, a room-by-room remediation guide using over-the-counter compounds. The Forbidden Water Damage Manual, what insurance adjusters never tell you before they close your claim. The Lost Off-Grid Preservation Cookbook, food storage methods Native Americans used for centuries without refrigeration. The Complete Off-Grid Sanitation Blueprint, waterless waste systems that pass county inspection. The Military Field Purification Guide, the same emergency water methods Special Forces carry in the field. The Suppressed Home Repair Index, 27 structural fixes contractors quote at thousands, done for under $50. And much more. Over 40 guides in one place. No fluff, straight to the point. The link is in the description with the QR code on your screen right now, but stay here, the video is just getting started. Now let me show you the numbers. Mold damage causes more structural damage to American homes than termites, floods, and fire combined in a typical year. Read that again. Every single year, American homeowners spend over $5 billion on mold-related repairs, treatments, and professional remediation. Roughly 70% of all homes will experience a serious mold event at some point. The average homeowner who discovers black mold behind drywall spends $2,300 on demolition and reconstruction alone. Professional remediation runs between $1,500 and $6,000 on top of that, per affected area, not per house. Here is the fact that should make you furious. Standard homeowners insurance does not cover mold damage in most policy structures because insurers classify it as a maintenance failure, meaning it is your negligence, not a covered peril. So you pay for the inspection, you pay for the demolition, you pay for the remediation, and the industry collects on every single step. Now compare that to 3% hydrogen peroxide. A 32-ounce bottle costs $1 at Walmart or Dollar General. Applied undiluted from a spray bottle to any mold-affected surface, it penetrates porous material, oxidizes the hyphal root system, and, once dry, leaves a residual oxidizing environment that prevents recolonization for months. One application, no contract, no technician. Follow the money. The mold remediation industry generated $2.5 billion in revenue in 2023 alone, growing at approximately 6% per year. There are over 11,000 professional remediation companies operating across the country. Post-flood and post-leak mold contracts are the crown jewel of this empire. Imagine what happens to that revenue model if homeowners across the country discover they can treat early-stage mold with a $1 bottle from the pharmacy. Imagine what happens to 11,000 companies if prevention becomes a household habit. Imagine what happens to every inspector, every contractor, every equipment rental company when the problem stops being a crisis. You cannot patent hydrogen peroxide because it is a naturally occurring compound. You cannot create a proprietary version homeowners need to repurchase every season. You cannot generate recurring service revenue when $1 and a spray bottle handle the job. So the industry did what industries do. They lobbied, they regulated, they complicated.
In most states, professional mold remediation of anything beyond 10 square feet can only legally be performed, for hire, by a contractor holding an EPA-recognized remediation certification. The EPA's own guidance document states that, quote, mold cleanup on areas greater than 10 square feet should be handled by professionals who have experience in mold remediation, end quote. Not because hydrogen peroxide is dangerous. It is classified by the EPA as a reduced-risk pesticide and is less acutely toxic than the bleach sitting under your kitchen sink. But because the professional licensing framework was built around industrial-grade biocides, chemicals that genuinely require training and protective equipment, and hydrogen peroxide got swept into the same regulatory conversation by proximity. Here is where it gets truly cynical. The industry's gold standard for black mold remediation is a proprietary negative air pressure containment system with HEPA filtration, available exclusively through licensed contractors. The physics work. Nobody disputes the containment principle. But the active fungicidal step in that process uses the same oxidation chemistry that a $1 bottle of peroxide performs on your bathroom tile.
The difference is that one version costs $1 and you control it, and the other costs $3,000 and they control it. The industry did not ban hydrogen peroxide. They did something smarter. They made it invisible. Here is what the industry does not want you to do. First, a safety note. Wear nitrile gloves and keep the area ventilated. 3% hydrogen peroxide is low toxicity, the same concentration used as a mouth rinse, but it is still an oxidizing agent and deserves basic handling respect. Do not use concentrations above 3% for household applications. The brown bottle at the dollar store is exactly the right product. Go to any Walmart, CVS, or Dollar General and buy a 32-ounce bottle of 3% hydrogen peroxide. It will cost you between 97 cents and $1.25. Method 1. Direct spray application. Pour the hydrogen peroxide undiluted into a clean plastic spray bottle. Do not dilute it. Spray directly onto the mold-affected surface, tile grout, caulk lines, bathroom ceiling, basement concrete block, drywall face. Saturate the surface completely. The key is dwell time. Do not wipe immediately. Let it sit for a minimum of 10 minutes, up to 30 minutes for heavily colonized areas. You will see active bubbling. That is the free oxygen radicals attacking fungal cell walls in real time. After dwell time, scrub with a stiff brush and wipe clean with a damp cloth. Allowed to dry completely. The residual oxidizing chemistry continues working as the surface dries. Method 2. Deep penetration solution for porous surfaces. Mix 2 tablespoons of 3% hydrogen peroxide with 1 tablespoon of white distilled vinegar and 1 cup of warm water. Stir until fully combined. The solution will remain clear. Pour into a spray bottle and apply generously to wood joists, sill plates, OSB subfloor, drywall paper backing, and plumbing penetration surrounds. These are the locations where hyphal root systems travel deepest. The acidic environment from the vinegar opens the surface pores, while the peroxide oxidizes the root network beneath. Allow 20 minutes dwell time. Do not rinse. Allow full evaporation. Reapply every 72 hours for 2 weeks on active infestations. Method 3. Preventive perimeter treatment. Mix 3 tablespoons of 3% hydrogen peroxide with 2 tablespoons of tea tree oil and 2 cups of warm water. Shake well before each application. The tea tree oil does not fully emulsify but distributes evenly when agitated. Apply along the base of basement walls, around window wells, along shower pan perimeters, and under sink cabinet floors, anywhere condensation collects. The tea tree oil provides ongoing antifungal residue between peroxide treatments.
Check monthly. Reapply whenever visible surface moisture appears or after any water intrusion event. One homeowner in Knoxville, Tennessee told me she had a 4-foot black mold spread behind her bathroom vanity that 2 contractors had quoted at $2,200 and $2,800 respectively. She used the deep penetration method 3 times over 2 weeks. By day 18, the mold was gone and has not returned in over 14 months. Her total cost was $3.
I need to be honest with you about one thing. Hydrogen peroxide is not a silver bullet for catastrophic structural mold. Cases where colonies have consumed interior wall cavities, HVAC ductwork, and structural framing across an entire floor plan. In those situations, professional intervention may be genuinely necessary. But here is what the industry will never tell you. Hydrogen peroxide is devastatingly effective as a preventive treatment.
And prevention is what the remediation industry fears most, because a homeowner who prevents the problem never becomes a customer. Your grandfather knew this. His generation kept hydrogen peroxide in the medicine cabinet and used it on every wound, every surface, every suspicious dark spot on the basement wall. The same way they changed their own oil and patched their own roofs without asking a corporation for permission to maintain their own ohms. Then, a $2.5 billion industry convinced an entire generation that mold was too dangerous, too technical, too legally complex for ordinary homeowners to address themselves. They turned a $1 solution into a $3,000 emergency. They put licensing frameworks around common sense, and they have been collecting on that lie for decades.
Consider the numbers one more time. $5 billion in mold-related home damage every year across America. 70% of homes will face a serious mold event. $2,300 average out-of-pocket demolition cost per household. And most insurance won't cover a single penny of it. Meanwhile, a naturally occurring compound proven effective for over 200 years sits in the first aid aisle for less than the price of a cup of fast food coffee. The science is not debatable. The EPA registered it. The CDC lists it as an approved surface disinfectant. University studies from Edinburgh to Paris to Stanford confirmed its antifungal efficacy against the exact mold species destroying American homes. The only thing standing between you and the solution is an industry that profits from your ignorance.
This knowledge did not disappear. It was buried.
If this video opened your eyes, subscribe and share it with every homeowner you know. Every share teaches one more family what the remediation industry spent decades hiding. Every subscription keeps this vault open for the people who need it most.
Go grab the complete Forbidden Camping Vault from the link in the description before the next vault opens, because what is inside the next one is even heavier. The next vault opens soon, and what the industry buried this time is even heavier.